I know you probably won't believe me, but this summer of 2026, I turned 42 years old. And for the last 16 months, I have been trying to rebuild my life from scratch due to a life-altering event that just burned up everything that I built from my early adulthood to the time I was about 39, 40 years old. And the rebuild has been good and a little bit of a disaster. And what I mean by that is, it seems like when I take 10 steps forward and have all kinds of momentum, something just grabs onto me and yanks me back 20 steps. It's like, make progress, but we're going to yank you right back to where the beginning is. Actually, we're going to place you way back behind the beginning. So you start to make stupid mistakes and start doing things you probably shouldn't do because you start to get desperate. So before this life-altering event, and I'll tell you what it is in a minute. Before this event, I had a wonderful career. I was with an amazing woman for 15 years. Let me put it this way. It wasn't a perfect marriage by any means, but we always seemed to figure things out. She was my best friend, my counterpart, my companion, and for a long time, we had a really good marriage. Then, again, it wasn't perfect. And we ended up with two wonderful children, gorgeous kids. But then my mother-in-law passed away unexpectedly in my ex-wife's arms a couple years ago. She collapsed in the house while they were seeing her on vacation, and she passed away before she could get to the hospital. I will say this, I loved my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, when I think about her, makes me a little emotional because she was such a good woman. But things started to come out after she passed away. I started to find out that the only reason why my ex-wife was staying in the marriage was because of my mother-in-law. She would call my mother-in-law and complain that she was not in love with me, that she wanted to be free, that she felt trapped, that she probably should have never married me, that even though we had children together, maybe it would have been better years ago if we just lived separately. I didn't know this. Now I have my faults. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm the perfect human being and the perfect man. I was the ideal man that most women talk about, except for I'm not 6'2". I'm 5'10", and on a good day when my back's straight, I'm 5'11". But I had the bigger than six figures and bigger than the six, you know what, bigger than that. And I had that motivation and that drive to succeed. And I started to build a side thing. I started building a YouTube channel based on the RV industry, the career I was in. And I'm like, I'm gonna make it, right? So after my mother-in-law passed away, then the economy got really bad. Work started to slow down. So I tried to start something. And the more I tried to build a business or build a company and try to supplement it, the more my ex-wife and I started getting more and more separated. Until one day, June of 2023, she pretty much nuked our relationship. She didn't cheat that I'm aware of, but she had an emotional affair with someone close to us. And She accused me of abandoning her. And the more we tried to take steps to try to resurrect the relationship, she just kept telling me she doesn't want to be together. So I let her go. So I went from living in a beach community for 8 years, taking 3 to 4 vacations a year, to being homeless. Because almost every dime I was making was going to child support, alimony, debt, bills, divorce, the whole 9 yards. So people always wonder why men, especially young men, don't have any interest in getting married. It's because of what happens to guys like me that don't cheat on their wife every single day, or beat anybody, or drink so heavily they want to knock themselves out. Nothing of that nature. You could be the perfect man and your wife will leave you. And when a woman leaves a man's life, it is a devastating thing that destroys everything you build. And you got to start all over. Like completely from zero. In fact, you actually start several steps backward compared to what you did when you were 18 years old, coming out of high school or going into college. I'd rather have 200 grand in student debt at 22 years old than to ever go through a divorce. So to rebuild, I've learned 3 things. Number 1 is you pretty much got to be broke. I dress broke, I walk around broke, I live off of canned food. Doing that enabled me to pay off a lot of the bills and a lot of the debt, where now today I might end up with $100 extra because I consolidated everything down to where I live in a trailer, I work a full-time job, I am building a podcast, and I'm building a bunch of other like stuff that deals with online businesses. Because at the end of the day, that's the only way I'm going to get to a point where I can be me again. And what I mean by desperate, some of the things that can happen when you start getting shoved backwards is you start trying to, bet on sports, or you're trying to look for something just to give you a relief. Not alcohol, not drugs, but maybe you go down and you're trying to play blackjack, which isn't my game. Or you bet on a parlay football game going, hey man, if I could just take this $50 and if the parlay hits one time, I can get ahead. And it never happens. And it starts screwing with your head, because now you're like, well, I guess God's against me. When that's not reality. When I used to go and play poker, I played poker for fun. I didn't play poker to go win money. I went to play poker for relief, and I think that's why I never got addicted to gambling like a lot of people do, is because when I would sit down and either shoot dice in Vegas or play poker in Vegas, it was more or less me. It was like a game to me. It was like I'm playing a game to, get the blood pumping, to make me think, to develop strategy. Because to me, I'm horrible at video games. But let me tell you, at the end of the day, the rebuild process will suck. It will be horrible. And I don't wish it on anybody. I really don't. But from here on out, I'm going to document it. And hopefully one day I can look back on it and laugh. hopefully.